Hello, YouTube. Okay, so after having been away for 3 weeks, it feels really freaking good to be back. So welcome to this new video. Today we're going to be talking about how do you stop caring about what other people think. Like, this is an obsession that so many of us have. And I feel like it's really worth addressing because it really takes away the quality of our life. It takes away the focus of our life. It takes away our creativity. It really gets in the way of us living our purpose and us living our best life. And so this video, you're going to learn, like, how do you get out of this thinking pattern? You're going to understand why this happens, and you're going to be given signs that shifts so that you can implement into your way of thinking. So you don't have to stop yourself. You don't have to keep trying to stop yourself from thinking about what other people think about you. This is probably one of the biggest struggles that I have had. And I still, time to time, I still come back to it. I unconsciously just think about what other people think of me. But it's now when it happens a lot less frequently. And I suffer from it a lot less. So on an emotional level, it feels less hard. Well, it feels easier to come out of it. And at the same time, I actually understand, all right, what am I emotionally feeling? And what do I need to tell myself? What do I need to provide for myself in order for me to shift back into the focus of just coming back to myself once again? By the way, it's not some kind of magic wand that it's going to just help you make everything disappear, make all those thoughts disappear. It's not going to numb you when you look at other people, but it's going to help you realize okay, what are some things can I shift in my world and in my perspective so that I can really put the focus back onto myself and actually make it an enjoyable experience for you. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please make sure that you do, and hit the bell button as well so that you can get more, you'll be notified when you get more of these kind of videos coming to you. And of course, I would love to just stay in touch, and I'm going to be creating a lot more of this type of content. So let's dive right in. So I asked myself, what if instead of only being successful when people like me, when people approve of me, when people follow me, when people support me, right? That's a very energy draining type of situation. What if instead of that, the more I thought about myself and the more I focused on myself, the more successful I became? I much preferred the latter idea. I much prefer living in that reality where the more I focus on myself, the more successful I became, because I can actually control that, whereas I cannot control what other people thought of me or what other people are going to say about me, and less can I control what their opinion is of me. So the key is to actually feel good about focusing on yourself. When you feel good about focusing on yourself, it's okay, this actually feels good. My body is going to come back for more of this, right? And then your body is going to recognize, hey, this is a good feeling. I'm going to come back for more of this. I'm going to feel this way more. And then your thoughts are going to change because you led with your body. The two reasons why we obsess what people think of us, well, there are 3 reasons, is that you're not giving the good feeling to yourself first, right? And so when we're not giving that good feeling to ourselves, we need to look for it from other sources, from other people, from approval, from recognition, from praises, right? By gaining recognition from others, it's kind of we get that cookie that, we get that rush, that it feels good. And so your body learns that, oh, in order for me to feel good, I need to look for approval from other people because I don't know how to give that cookie to myself. And the second reason is that we actually don't have very good opinion of ourselves. We don't like ourselves very much. And that is entirely okay, because now we are talking about it and we're going to tweak that. We're going to shift that. We tend to build our own worth and our own self-image from the outside in. So what we're doing is we're letting the world determine how worthy we are, who we are, where we stand in the world. And this is like this, it forms our opinion of ourselves because we don't like ourselves very much. So all the things that we think about ourselves is being informed from the outside world. And number 3 is that we have a need to control our external reality. So the more that we control the world outside of us, the safer we feel, because we want to make sure that if everything is in place in the outside world, if everyone has a good opinion of me, then I will be safe. This happens if you're only happy if the world thinks the way that you want them to think, or if the world has an opinion of you that you want to project to them. And so we try to, as much as possible, to control what the world thinks of us. So every single time we're checking in, we're getting that reassurance, like, oh, we're still good. We're still good. People still like me. They still have a good impression of me. Everything's still like in the right place, right? So that reassurance, like, it reinforces us that we should keep checking in, because it gives us that feeling of, it's like an illusion of safety. So we keep doing that, and we put the thought away like momentarily or temporarily until it resurfaces again the next time, which is like a super exhausting way to live. So how do we go about this if this were not our ideal reality? Now, I've discovered 2 steps. The first one is that we must become intentional to the way we speak about ourselves, and we must form a healthy opinion about ourselves. If I don't feel very highly about myself, how can I expect other people to think highly of me, right? Like, if I don't speak to myself with respect, if I don't treat myself with respect, then how do I expect other people to see the worth in me? And so, like, when I started to see, like, to see things this way and to think this way, I realized that the way that I see myself has to come first, because the way that I see myself will then be reflected in the way that other people treat me and the way that other people see me. So I'm not trying to create my self-worth from the outside. It's more like I respect myself first, I treat myself good first, and then the way that I treat myself, people will be able to see that, and that's how they learn to respect me, and that's how they learn to see the worth in me. It's like by this feedback of like watching how I treat myself. So instead of falling into the habit of criticizing myself, making myself feel bad, and like belittling myself, or like thinking small of myself, right? Like putting myself down. The moment I become aware that I'm doing this, I start to ask myself, is this how I really want to make myself feel? Because I am aware that like by talking this way, I'm making myself feel this way. So like, do I want to allow myself to continue to feel bad? Do I want to be the one who speaks like this to make myself feel that way? Or do I want to challenge myself? Like, oh yeah, you know, why am I talking to myself like that? I don't actually have to. Like, why was I doing this in the first place? Right? So then we develop that awareness that, oh, like I'm saying these things to myself, I'm making myself feel bad. I don't want to continue to make myself feel bad, and I'm going to, you know, speak differently to myself. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is we must learn to observe and appreciate the substance of our inside world. So the habit of looking at other people is like the feeling of, it's actually generated from a feeling of feeling like we don't really have much to observe from the inside. There's not much going on in the inside. And so as a result of that, we're like, well, there's nothing to see. There's nothing to observe on the inside. So I might as well like look at what other people are telling me and what other people are saying to me. And so we try to keep ourselves busy by putting our attention outwards. So I realized that the more I look within myself, like the more I bring that focus inside of myself, the more I bring the focus into my creativity, my ideas, the things that I want to do, my passions, right? Like my hobbies and people that I love, I realize the more interesting it actually gets. Oh, there's actually a lot more substance here. There's a lot more to see here. There's a lot more to who I am, instead of having to just focus on like a really plain, like a one-dimensional vision of who other people tell me I am. And I start to like develop this like sense of self, this character that I am. And I start to realize that, hey, you know what? My world is really fascinating. I'm a really fascinating person. And there's like so many dimensions to me that like the world doesn't actually know. You learn a lot more about yourself, and all of a sudden your inner world becomes a lot more interesting than the fleeting opinions of other people. So like, this is not all, you know, like you click a finger and then like all the thoughts go away. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like it still happens every now and then. Like the thoughts still creep in, and I still find myself thinking about like what other people are thinking about me. But I find that this process is not about having to be perfect. Like, I don't think you can get this process wrong. I don't think you can do it wrong. Like, I think it's a journey of establishing a deeper relationship with yourself and building more dimensions of this relationship with yourself, of your personality, of your character. And I do it for myself because I just genuinely want to get to know myself better. Like, that is it. And so the more I focus on myself, the more I, work on how I feel about myself, I tend to appreciate myself a lot more. I think like I feel a lot more successful. I love myself a lot more. I like myself a lot more. And my world is a lot more fulfilling and rich than I used to think. What I've also realized is the moment that I start thinking of myself, like my ideas, my creativity, the things that I want to do, the things I'm passionate about, and I actually like get into it straight away, the thinking about what other people are thinking about me, it suddenly turns off, right? And so like it happens simultaneously. It's not like I have to stop thinking about what other people are thinking about me first before I can focus on myself. It's like the moment I focus on myself, the other side just switches off. Like it just turns off. And the reason it happens this way, and I think that this is the case, is because the mind is like a switch, right? It's like a switch. It's like it's got the on and the off side. So it always has to be on one or the other, and it cannot be in both. So the moment the mind switches over to I'm thinking about myself and I'm focusing on myself, it's on the on. And then the moment you stop focusing on yourself, you focus on the external world. And so my hope is that this video will help you realize how much more fulfilling your own life is, that it's going to help you repair your relationship with yourself. It's going to help you grow your relationship with yourself, and create the kind of life, one that you're living for yourself and not for anybody else. So that's the end of the video. I hope that this video has touched you. If this video has like awoken something inside of you and it's touched you in some way, it's like helping you to think differently and feel differently about yourself, then please let me know in the comments. I would really love to hear like how things have shifted for you, and I would love to celebrate you. It would mean the entire world to me if you liked and subscribed to my channel as well. So until next time, take care, and I will see you in the next video.